Hey, this is Dave for musictrainer.com, and today we're going to talk about technique and warm-ups. I like to do this exercise every single day. It's the first thing that I play. It's really important to work on your technique and also warm up at the same time, and just to keep tabs on where things are at. But to start off, you're going to use all four fingers starting at the 12th fret. So your pinky's on the 12th all the way down to the 9th fret with your first finger. And you're going to play it very, very, very slowly, but starting off with this, starting off with a downstroke. All right, just that much. One more time. Keeping in mind to alternate pick, so down, up, down, up. And also be thinking about letting all the notes ring into each other. Here's the opposite of that. Very short, very staccato notes. You do not want that. You want your notes to ring out as long as possible, because this is pretty easy to play. But this, no space in between the notes, is much more difficult to play. Okay, so moving on, switch your fingers now, go over to the next string. Okay, same thing again, up to the next string. Now notice when I change strings, I'm going from 1, 2, 3. Now when I get to this note, I'm already prepping to come over to the next string. This one stays behind. This one's already ready to go. So there's no lag, there's no space in between the notes. Okay, it's a really small detail, but it's one of those things that you can really hear from somebody who can really, really, really play well, that you listen to and go, wow, that's such an amazing sound, and how do they get that? I'm playing the exact same part that he's playing, but I don't sound like that. That's why. Is because a lot of times it has to do with letting all the notes ring a certain length, and that gives it sort of a feel and a vibe that only more professional players can get. But I'm trying to go show you how to get there. But it takes a lot of patience and a lot of practice. So after you've played that, going all the way down, you've gotten to here. You slide down one. And do the same thing going the opposite direction. Now, be careful to keep your fingers down. Don't do this. That just becomes a train wreck. Make sure your fingers stay down, close to the frets, close to the strings. Now, once you get up here, slide the whole thing down one fret. And you're basically starting over 2 frets lower than where you started. Okay, so by the end of this, you're all the way down to the 1st fret. You've snaked your way down, all the way down here. Now, a lot of people, for some reason, tend to start this exercise down here, and that's completely fine. But to me, you're starting already sort of stretched out. You're starting with a wide finger stretch. I like to start a little bit smaller, a little bit easier on my hand, so that by the time you're down here, you've now stretched your fingers out. Now, it's important to start here, end up down here, and then end back up exactly where you started. It's a very, very important tip. Now, another very important tip is to use a metronome for this. So let's try this just with the metronome, and I'll show you how that works. So this is at 63. If 63 is a little bit too fast for you, definitely slow it down. There's no problem with that. So here's the example at 63. 3, 4. and so on and so forth. So use your time wisely on this. Really keep track of where the metronome setting is at each time, so you can always keep track of it and then try to advance that. So eventually you start off slow, but as you begin to gain speed, it's important to stay relaxed. If I was tense during this, it would sound very, very, very choppy, okay? It's important to stay relaxed, let the guitar do the work, let the amp do the work. All right, so let's move on to the next exercise.